order of a public officer. By interpretation, it meant there was some court order against the protest that we ostensibly or allegedly disobeyed. The order was never served. Before the protest, the initiator of the protest was Omoyele Sowore. I supported the protest as a Nigerian, as an upstanding Nigerian, as an Igbo man, as somebody who believes in justice. I supported it openly. Okay, I went around with Sowore to drum up support for the protest. It was supposed to be peaceful protest. And we did apply to the police, and it was approved. They went to court to get a court order to stop the protest in its tracks. The judge refused. They pressured, so the judge gave a limited order that the protest could go on. But the judge created a perimeter beyond which the protest cannot go. And it was named, in particular, Shehu Shagari Way, the three-arm zone that includes the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Aso Rock and National Assembly. That was all. I was arrested behind Transcorp Hilton Hotel along with others. Sowore was with me. I don't know how he managed to escape in that whole billow of smoke, of tear gas and all that. I think there was a vehicle that was passing by. He managed to jump into the vehicle. The driver opened the door and he jumped in, something like that. Otherwise, he would have been arrested on the spot. I was with him shoulder to shoulder. So we were around the intersection of Ahmad Bello and Adetugumba Ademola in Wuse. He fell outside the perimeter that the court ordered that you shouldn't go. Right around where you turn onto a small street to go into the EFCC. And those two hotels that have the same name on the left, that was where we were. I was there. My vehicle was parked. My driver was inside. I came out and I was calling Sowore on the phone. He asked me, where are you? I told him where I was. So he came. The moment he got there, we got together. A small crowd formed around us. People that came with him, and others, and so on and so forth. And we just started shouting, yelling, sloganeering peacefully, free nnamdi KANU, free nnamdi KANU, free nnamdi KANU. I think maybe they had a scout somewhere around there. There was no police inside. There was no police cordon. There was no police contingent anywhere around. But apparently they had a scout. So the scout went all the way to the Hilton, Transport Hilton and Jerry Ghana Junction where they were, and told them that these people are over there yelling the slogan of protest. So they deployed from that side and started pursuing us. They came to us, we didn't go to them. We were way outside the perimeter, 2 kilometers away from the perimeter, beyond which the court order said we shouldn't go. So they brought their violence to us. It was a violent arrest, interdiction, forceful, even though the protesters were under their control because they had so many vehicles and so many well-armed police officers. I don't know what they were doing with loaded weapons, and almost each one of them was carrying canisters of tear gas, and they were shooting this thing indiscriminately to the point that it affected some of them. One of the officers was yelling, take it easy, but the ones that had gone mad with impunity and draconism would not listen. They kept shooting and shoving people around and so on and so forth.
Looking at even the perimeter restriction of the court, is it an infringement on your fundamental rights, given the fact that protest is constitutionally guaranteed?
Yes.
So even as the court was limiting it, was it a breach on your own fundamental right?
Now, that order issued from an ex parte application. An ex parte application implies that there's a bigger case coming. So we're going to court and we're going to join issues with them in a substantive setting, in an adversarial setting, where they make their case, we make ours. Then the point that you just made will come in. Since when did Nigerians lose their constitutional right to peaceably assemble, their constitutional right to protest and to free speech? Protest is a communicative measure taken by citizens in a democracy to express their discontent to their government. If you lose the right of protest to your government, peaceful protest, then what is the essence of democracy? That is the question that has to be answered, and it will be answered by the court of law. But right now, we are talking to the court of the public opinion. This is a question I want all Nigerians to ponder. Do you think it is right for your government to arrest you, to subdue you so violently, and subject you to a whole week of imprisonment without trial, just because you came out and you told your government, I am not happy with a particular policy? Can you please change it? The protest was not directed against the judiciary to begin with. The judiciary does not initiate prosecutions. The protest was directed against the executive decision of the federal government to prosecute nnamdi. Prosecuting someone is different from trying that person. Subjecting you to trial is the duty and it's within the province of the courts. But to trigger that trial, the executive branch takes a step, and that step is called prosecution. So we were out there to tell President Tinubu, not Justice James Omotosho or the Nigerian Federal High Court. No, we were there to tell President Tinubu, the man you have before the courts under trial did nothing wrong. And the manner by which or in which he was brought into the country does not give you the right to subject him to trial. That is all. Pure and simple. That what he was doing, or the enterprise for which you are traducing him and prosecuting him, is an enterprise that is protected under Nigerian law and international law. That enterprise is called self-determination. It's a view, it's a political opinion that may be inconvenient to the government, and that is why the mischief rule in every national law protected it as a political right. If the mischief rule or people who founded nations didn't think it was wise, they wouldn't have put it there, that you have the right to self-determination. But when a government, your government, in response to that right, seeks to suppress your expression of that right by means of punishment of some sort, that becomes egregious. It becomes a challenge to the entire society to ask whether such is the correct government response in a democracy.
Some people also wonder, as defense counsel for Nnamdi Kanu, why did you embark on the protest?
Defense counsel to Nnamdi Kanu has not lost his right as a Nigerian. I know the rules of the bar, the rules of such deeds, and so on and so forth. I wasn't in the protest to tell the court on how to make rulings or how to render judgments or to express opinion on how the court is conducting the proceedings. I was in the protest to express my views to the government of my country that your prosecutorial policy as deployed and levied against my fellow citizen, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, is wrong. Stop it and halt it. It's my right to do so, despite the fact that I'm a defense counsel. Some of the most far-reaching reforms we enjoy today in terms of our civic rights, we are pioneered through protests led by lawyers like Gani Fowell and others who are still living a life, like people like Femi Falana. Being a lawyer and even being participating in a case does not rob you of having an opinion over that case, a opinion you can express publicly without breaching the zone of surgeries that the court would not want you to go. I was careful to walk that thin line. And I was in my proper zone. I didn't breach anything.
And then one is also tempted to ask, going to public protest, does it imply by any stretch of imagination that you've lost confidence in judiciary?
No.
In the judicial process?
No. I'm an officer in the Temple of Justice. If I tell you I have lost confidence in the judiciary, then I might as well hang my wig and gown and go to the village and maybe begin to farm. Okay? Or begin to go somewhere and become a philosopher. And even lose interest in the entire society. No. I have confidence in the judiciary. I won 3 victories from Nnamdi Kanu. One before the Abia State High Court, one before the Federal High Court in Romania, and one before the Enugu State High Court. It is the same judiciary. They have given me a fair check. I have confidence in the Federal High Court. They've given me a victory. So that underscores my confidence. But it does not mean that I'm naive. It does not mean that I will be blind to the political winds that are pervading the case of nnamdi Kanu. There is this palpable political content in it that is far beyond the capacity of judiciary to resolve. And that is why judiciary has been grappling with that case since 2015, going on to 10 years. It's a very tough nut to crack for the judiciary, but very easy nut to crack for the executive branch. It's all politics. So my taking it to the public square to Nigerians was to, awaken the consciousness of Nigerians to see the politics in the case and to lay the blame for the lingering, for this case lingering for so much, lay the blame where it should be laid. The buck stops at the president's table. If President Tinubu directs the Attorney General to exercise the powers of his office under Section 174 of Nigerian Constitution to discontinue this case, it will be over. Pure and simple. That was my goal.
Maybe some people might need to ask, why is Nnamdi Kanu still being held if from several reports there is this argument that he has no case to answer, he has not done nothing wrong. Why is he still being held? And is there any window of chance for him to be freed?
This case is grounded upon the proscription of IPOB and tagging it a terrorist group. So Nnamdi Kanu got caught up as the leader of IPOB. Do you understand? That's one of the charges. As a matter of fact, 2 other charges were grounded on the basis of his leadership of a proscribed organization. So when I took the case to the Enugu State High Court in 2023, the Enugu State High Court ruled that the manner of proscribing IPOB violated Section 42 of Nigerian Constitution. That is the section of the Nigerian Constitution under Chapter 4 of the Constitution that prohibited discrimination against any Nigerian on the basis of ethnicity. The court mentioned expressly that the proscription of IPOB was a directed executive discrimination against the Igbo ethnic group. And sometime in October 2022, the United Nations Special Rapporteurs, an organ of the United Nations that oversees human rights violations in foreign countries, had also reached the same conclusion. It wasn't by conjecture. They mentioned the Igbo ethnic group. They are the forerunners of what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say is this. Let it sink in. Nnamdi Kanu is being travailed because he's Igbo. Pure and simple. If he wasn't Igbo, this case would have been over 9-8 years ago. I'm not the first one that said it. The judicial body has said it. Enugu State High Court has said it indirectly. United Nations Special Rapporteurs has said it indirectly and directly to some extent because they mentioned Nnamdi Kanu by name. So let us stop beating around the bush. And this is the reason that really helped galvanize me. As an Igbo man, I shouldn't have a trembling knee. I'm not an Igbo man with a trembling knee. So when you step on the rights of an upstanding Igbo man and it gets my attention, I'll fight for him. If I don't do it in the course, I do it on the streets. And I fight peaceably, but I'll fight strongly and vigorously. Because it's one for all for one. If I let that one sit up, if I sit it out, one day may be my turn. I also fight for other Nigerians, but they cannot be Igbo first before I become a Nigerian. So I cannot be in denial that all is well with Igbo man in Nigeria. And Nnamdi Kanu is the poster boy for that.
All right. There's a lot of distortion going on. People claiming that there is no genocide of Christians in the nation. Information with facts can never be thwarted. You see people buried in hundreds and you say there is no genocide. What a wicked set of people. Agreed, there are people killed in other places for other reasons. But this one is very clear. And gradually is eating down to the south, southwest, southeast, and many so-called leaders for their personal interests are claiming it's not true. Selling out their faith if they have it at all. Jesus said, when I come, will I find the faith? And we are standing here to say to Jesus, the faith will keep standing. Raise your voice in a few seconds. Father, strengthen the brethren. Strengthen the faith.
You will recall that on August 8, 2025, the party issued a reprimand to members of our anti-party activities of NSF. And so, from then to now, the party revealed that there were some members, or many members of the party, and the NWC guilty some decisions today. All of those anti-party activities are as contained in the constitution of the party, and so those again were reviewed. This is the activity of these individuals that we mentioned. So, what we have identified, majorly as part of constituting the offense is under the Constitution Act. Anybody who commits any breach of the party's constitution and of manifesto and says or does anything provided in the Constitution under Section 58, any member who says or does anything likely to bring the party into disrepute, hatred, or contempt, disobeys or neglects to carry out lawful directives of the party or any organ or officer of the party. And again, which is important, engages in any conduct likely to cause disaffection among members of the party or is likely to disrupt the peaceful, lawful, and efficient conduct of the business of the party. So the NWC considered this with other actions in line with the concern of the party and came to this following decision. Number one, the National Legal Advisor, Kamal Actuary SN, suspended for 30 days and is referred to the National Disciplinary Committee of the party. Number two, the Deputy National Legal Advisor, Barrister Kichuku Kusoha, was suspended for 30 days in line with the Constitution and referred to the National Disciplinary Committee as may be necessary. During the period of suspension, they ceased to function in their respective capacities. Second, the National Organizing Secretary, Honorable Umar Bature, suspended for 1 month and referred to the National Disciplinary Committee. Third, the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Ayam, suspended for 1 month and referred to the National Disciplinary Committee. With the case of the National Secretary pursuant to Section 36(2) of the Constitution, as amended in 2017, the Deputy National Secretary, Honorable Architect Secretary Sitonji Koshedu, shall act as the National Secretary. And in the case of the Legal Advisor, the National Legal Advisor and the Deputy Legal Advisor, the National Director of Legal Services has been empowered and directed to oversee the activity of the department during the period of suspension. I thank you very much for coming and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Story now. It's my Friday story. I was going to take Natasha, inviting Akpabio and the Senate to come for her. You know, what did she invite them for again? For her constituency project. Solving the problem now. I mean, the problem is solved, isn't it? It looks like she's inviting she even said congratulations to him.
You can invite your fellow senators to come and, fix your, see how you do your project.
All right.
Prior to this time, she invites other senators and all that.
Okay,
But
no
they still
problem.
have a lot of cases in court.
But it seems like it's better now at this point. But
I
the
don't
fact
think
that
so.
she's actually you're fighting for.
No, but I don't think so. I mean,
All right,
I state
all right.
facts. I don't think
I like the
if it was
invitation,
better,
but
kissing
I wish we
out
had
of
time
court
to
is
take
when
the
out of court. I think it's better.
But let's take this story now. Nicholas Ukachukwu, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the forthcoming Anambra election, has been trending online after granting a live television interview where he attempted to critique the Soludo administration over worsening insecurity in Anambra State. The politician, however, was pointedly asked about the increasing rate of baby factories and illegal adoption rings in the state. But he went on to describe how his own factories have been shut down due to insecurity. Let's take a look. I've also heard of the increasing rate of baby factories in Anambra State, and there are fresh incidents of violence and encroachment on farmlands. First, what is your assessment of the rising cases of baby factories and illegal adoption rings in Anambra State?
Oh, honestly, let me tell you this. I see things in national television, and some can say it's not true. Nobody have more number of factories in Anambra State than myself and my family. And on that note, I'm telling you right now, I can't remember in recent times once telling you that many industries sprang up in Anambra State. No, insecurity and killed manufacturers. You know, as a matter of fact, my factory is under lock because it's now my 6 expatriates. And then the rest, I used to have some of them, 70 something of this people working for me. The place is under lock and key. The aluminum smelting company was supposed to, bring to stream for the past few years. I have not. We lock it down because we cannot be able to run it. The Radisson Hotel there in Anambra State belongs to us also. All right. So what authority says that we love Anambra State, we're investing there. But what nobody can tell you that
all right,
people are taking over because
let
the
me put you on
factory are
hold.
struggling.
The anchor was completely shocked, Dr. Mati Ayorufai. This video cracked me up. They asked you about baby factory, and this is what happens when all you want to do is pull down. That is that pull down. Yeah. See, this all he came to do, Dr. Mati, quickly.
See, many years back, we used to say, it shall be well with Anambra. When Anambra State was facing serious political crisis. I think we have reached a crossroads now where ahead of the November 8th election, we should just be praying, it shall be well with Anambra. Yesterday, we had a gubernatorial candidate on this program who said Anambra people should vote for the nigger.
Rise for the nigger.
We have another candidate also from Anambra who is more celebrated for her looks rather than anybody paying attention to what she said.
All right.
So, and you just have this whole field of candidates in Anambra. I think the onus is on the people of Anambra, ND Anambra, as they are called, to vote wisely.
Yes, this is it.
To make a wise decision with their votes. They were asking this, what did you call it? Nicholas.
Nicholas factory. Yes, plenty factories.
They asked him about baby factories and illegal adoption. This man that they call the Ukukoma of Nnamdi, he came and said he has been building factories and all that. Is that the question? And I thought the anchor, before throwing to the break, we say, please, Your Excellency, will be. Because when they become governor, they become excellency. She should have asked him that, do you even understand the question?
Yes, she was.
Do you know anything about illegal adoption?
That time, and that was such an important question.
Yes. She just said, we'll throw to break. I thought she was even going to laugh.
No, she must have cracked up the way we all did.
Okay, let's throw to break. Because this level of ignorance, but it is, as I've said, it is up to the people of Anambra to make their choice. If they like, let them vote for somebody who doesn't know the difference between factory and baby factory and illegal adoption. Are you saying?
He came for a purpose. That's what he's doing.
He has not yet come out
about to defend himself to say he could not hear properly. So on the face of it, yes, we want to give him the benefit of the doubt that it's because he didn't hear. On the face of it, he was asked a question about baby factories, which is a big deal,
Very
and a
big
big
deal.
issue in Anambra State.
Yes.
In fact, this Governor Soludo's administration has tried to crack down on these baby factories, but he went ahead. All he had was factories, and an opportunity to talk about what Soludo has not done well. But I think very quickly, this is the importance of holding them accountable and having interviews like that pre-elections. But at the end of the day, like Dr. Basi mentioned, debates. Yes, they need to come out and talk about their ideas. Let us hear what their ideas are. Then very importantly, that the voters will not be induced by money, but vote the best person for the job.
About foreign exchange. He will tell you how much dollar he has in the bank.
Do you know who I would like to see in another debate?
The nigga.
By the way, he's a self-styled N-word. He's one that came and that's his campaign slogan.
The nigga.
But you know the thing is that if people let the people's movie done. If you like Eweke, if you like the factory owner, also it's up to you.
Kingsley.
He's from
Kingsley is
Anambra.
our producer from Anambra, yes.
He shall be
It shall be well with you, Kingsley, and your people. But really, vote wisely. That's the end. All right, shall we?